Let's stop pretending beer is still liquid gold. For a decade, the industry's biggest players have been running on a treadmill that's slowly being unplugged. Welcome to the 2026 HDIN Global Beer Audit. This isn't a tasting flight. It's a cold-blooded autopsy of who's actually printing cash and who's just drowning in their own inventory. We're moving beyond the craft marketing fluff to analyze the brutal arithmetic of global dominance. Think of this as the Moneyball moment for the $180 billion brewing sector. The world's thirst has officially peaked. With global volume contracting by 1.1%, the industry has entered a Hunger Games phase. We're no longer baking a bigger pizza. We're fighting over the last cold slice in the box. In North America and China, the volume drop is equivalent to every resident pouring 10 pints down the drain every year. The value migration we're seeing isn't a trend, it's a desperate escape pod. Companies that can't justify a premium price tag are essentially trying to win a marathon while running backward. Molson Coors just woke up with a $3.6 billion hangover. That's their Q3 goodwill impairment, enough cash to buy a private island for every person in their C-suite. The double squeeze is real. Excise taxes in places like Canada are rising faster than the foam on a warm lager, while Gen Z is trading the pub for sober-curious TikTok trends. If your business model relies on cheap and plentiful, you're not a brewer anymore. You're a charity with high overhead. Size matters, until it doesn't. AB InBev's $59 billion revenue makes them the 800-pound gorilla in the room, out-earning Heineken by almost double. To put that in perspective, ABI's revenue is enough to buy the entire New York Yankees franchise 10 times over. But here's the catch. Being the biggest shark in a shrinking pond just means you're the last one to starve. We're looking for efficiency, not just a bloated top line that looks good on a press release. Here is where the McKinsey logic kicks in. Boston Beer makes $718,000 per employee. Tsingtao? Barely $154,000. That's like comparing a high-frequency trading bot to a manual calculator. Boston Beer is a brand company masquerading as a brewery. They outsource the low-margin grunt work and keep the high-margin Beyond Beer intellectual property. If your labor force is too big, you're not a modern enterprise. You're an industrial-age relic waiting for a museum slot. The most important asset in brewing today isn't a copper kettle, it's an app. AB InBev's Bees and Heineken's Eazle are digital toll booths. Heineken's Eazle handled 13.4 billion euros in transactions. That's more than the GDP of several small nations. By owning the retailer's smartphone, they don't just sell beer, they control the algorithm of the corner store. If you don't own the data, you're just a liquid logistics company, and UPS does that better than you. Margin is the only metric that doesn't lie. Chongqing Brewery is rocking a 53.4% gross margin by selling international plus local liquid Rolexes. People are drinking less, but they're paying more for the privilege of holding a super premium bottle. In 2026, if you're still selling value lager, you're essentially trying to sell flip phones in an iPhone world. High margins aren't a luxury. They are the only thing keeping the lights on as input costs skyrocket. Let's look at the lipstick on a pig slide. Chongqing claims an 81% ROE. In a manufacturing business, that number is so high it should come with a hazard warning. It's likely a cocktail of asset-light accounting and aggressive leverage. Meanwhile, Carlsberg has $8 billion of goodwill on their balance sheet, essentially a hope and a prayer that Asia keeps growing. One bad quarter in China, and that goodwill turns into a black hole that swallows their equity. Tsingtao is a bank that occasionally ships beer. Their days sales outstanding is 5 days. 5 days. They take the distributor's cash before the yeast has even finished fermenting. They are using their partner's money to fund their own growth. This is the ultimate sign of market power. While AB InBev is busy managing its debt, Tsingtao is sitting on a mountain of prepaid cash, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. The word beer in a beer company's name is becoming a legacy liability. 86% of Boston Beer's volume isn't even beer. It's spiked tea and seltzer. They've successfully de-risked their entire existence. Traditional lager is the blockbuster video of the beverage world. Beyond Beer is the streaming service. If you aren't pivoting to energy drinks or hard teas, you're just waiting for the last customer to age out of your market. The China market is a masterclass in integration. From the high-end testing grounds in Hong Kong and Macau to the integrated logistics in Taiwan, China, it's one massive interconnected engine. Top-tier brewers have moved past fragmented regional strategies to create a seamless supply chain. If you can't navigate the regulatory and logistical nuances of the mainland Taiwan-China corridor, you're forfeiting the biggest growth prize in human history. ESG used to be a PR stunt, now it's a P&L item. Chongqing is using only 2.03 hectoliters of water to make 1 hectoliter of beer. That's industry-leading efficiency. Why? Because water is becoming more expensive than the glass it's put in. Sustainability isn't just about saving the planet. It's about not being taxed into oblivion. If you aren't carbon neutral by 2030, your license to operate will be revoked by the market, not just the government. The best beer to sell is the one without alcohol. Why? No excise tax. It's pure margin alchemy. Heineken 0.0 is in 117 countries because it allows them to sell water and hops at premium prices without the 40% tax haircut. We're moving toward a wellness multiplier, where the sober-curious Gen Z becomes the most profitable demographic in history. Selling sobriety is the biggest margin hack of the decade. Here's the rich dad, poor dad of brewing. AB InBev is dragging a $60 billion debt mountain. Every time interest rates twitch, their CFO gets a migraine. Tsingtao has nearly $2 billion in net cash. One is playing defense, trying to keep the bank away. The other is playing offense, looking for acquisitions. In a recession, cash doesn't just talk. It buys your competitors for cents on the dollar. The verdict is clear. The 2026 winners are asset-light, digitally locked in, and diversified into beyond beer. The losers are the volume junkies, trapped by high debt and low-end commodity lagers. The industry is being sorted. You're either an agile brand platform or a dying manufacturing utility. Don't be the guy holding the debt when the music stops. Data is the only antidote to uncertainty. If you want the full-page underlying data set for this audit, or if you need a custom deep dive into regional specifics, reach out to us. Send an email to sales@HDINresearch.com or click the link in our description. Follow at HDIN230 for more industry autopsies. Remember, in this market, being okay is a death sentence. Stay sharp,